Since its release last year, the Longines Spirit Zulu Time has quickly ascended to become one of the top sports GMT options in its price range. Yet in similar watch enthusiast fashion, there was a lot of chatter and requests for a smaller version than the original 42mm option. Well, recently Longines announced the new extension of the broader model family at 39mm, with them now finally being available, and in this video, we'll discuss them in complete detail. Let's jump in. So in this video, we are going to do a complete review and deep dive on these timepieces. I have had an opportunity to wear them for an extended period of time, so feel more comfortable in bringing you guys what you should know before looking to buy. This video is structured as a traditional review with some pros and cons at the end, and after watching it, if you like what you're seeing, we do have these available on teddybaldassarre.com. We're an authorized dealer of Longines, full factory warranty. These are going to be probably more difficult to get at the start, so we have a small batch to begin with, and they're ready to ship now. And how we're able to fund all of our content is through watch purchases. So if you're on the market, we love your business. In order to appreciate this watch entirely, I do want to briefly discuss Longines and their history of both pilot watches and watches created to track multiple time zones. Longines has been in business for over 190 years, being one of the most important Swiss watch brands in both the 19th and 20th century. However, very rarely does it get its deserved flowers. Even for myself, I obtained a newfound appreciation when I was able to visit their museum in Switzerland earlier this year and see the work that they are still doing at their HQ. Longines' history of multiple time zone tracking first was established in the year 1908, with the first pocket watch to show two separate time zones on the dial made for the Ottoman Empire as a way to track times both locally and in the West. Then to follow in 1925, Longines created the first wristwatch to indicate a second time zone with the Zulu flag on the dial. This phrase, Zulu Time, specifically refers to 0 GMT, or now UTC, used in military conversations for developing uniform understanding of time zones. This watch was essentially lost within Longines' expansive archive, only to be given a redirected spotlight by way of their 2022 release, the Spirit Zulu GMT, a watch that honored its aviation roots within a contemporary package. As previously mentioned, the watch was very well received, yet there were some that could not pull off the 42mm diameter and lug-to-lug of 50mm of the previous version. So with this new available size, the Zulu Time now broadens its appeal to a wider audience than it ever had before. In total, the new collection offers 3 dial and bezel color combinations with strap and bracelet options in steel, and the addition of a steel and gold variant with a few strap and bracelet option variations of its own. For the purposes of this review, we'll speak primarily to the new trio of stainless steel options with plans to have even deeper coverage on the S&G models, since that is almost a completely different proposition altogether. Speaking to the greatest change on display, we have a completely reimagined dimension set with a resulting wearing experience that simply sings on my wrist. Measuring at 39mm in diameter with a 47mm lug-to-lug, the Zulu Time 39 is going to be a great option for anyone with a smaller to medium-sized wrist, or for those who simply appreciate the mid-size sports watches of the mid-20th century. In my opinion, the 39mm wears true to size, if not slightly larger, as a byproduct of the longer end length that shoots down towards the wrist aggressively. The thickness of this watch is a very solid 13.5mm, undercutting competitors like the Black Bay Pro by more than a full millimeter. Like previous Zulu Time models, the 21mm bracelet is well done for the price point, with a 3-link design format composed of solid pin-adjusted links that taper heavily to 16mm at the push-button fold-over clasp, pairing milled and stamped components while being equipped with 5 points of micro-adjustment that should create no issue in finding a precise fit. Moving over to the straps, there are a few different shades of rugged leather with contrasting stitching to complement the Zulu Time design format. The clasp itself is constructed from milled components, it's signed, and offers an impressive and slick micro-adjustment system that allows for around a centimeter of additional length that can be easily adjusted even while on wrist. Both the strap and bracelet also feature a quick release system, with the bracelet presenting a simple button that enables easy swapping. The case and bracelet are finished to a nice degree, with circular brushing on the lug tops, vertical brushing on the case sides, and a slender polished bevel spanning its entire length, separating the two primary surface finishes in the process. At 3, a 7mm screw down crown is signed and equipped with prominent edges for easy gripping, all while assisting in the 100 meters of water resistance rating. Pops of colors traditionally certainly make themselves available on bezels in the world of GMTs, and the Zulu Time doesn't disappoint. With an excellent bi-directional rotating bezel with its own ceramic insert in blue, green, black, and brown for the two-tone. The bracelet finish follows the case with a majority brushed effect that is offset by small hits of polishing surrounding the inner links. The 39mm dial essentially is a proportionally downsized version of the original. Set beneath the safety of a dome sapphire crystal coated with several layers of anti-reflective material on both sides, the Zulu dials balance its heritage aviation DNA with elevated modern finishing techniques. Across the board, the Zulu dial exhibits a multi-dimensional effect owed to a raised minute track at the perimeter, further offset by a polished metallic ring where the minute track meets the dial's lower position center. At the 5-minute positions, the ring is interrupted by diamond-shaped cutouts with prominent applied numerals set just within, and time telling is handled with polished loom-filled baton hands, complemented by a color-coordinated arrow-style GMT hand for each dial. The superluminova present in the dial and hands across this collection varies between plain white and a faux aged effect depending on the variant, and is adequate for telling the time at a glance in darker conditions, although not outstanding. At 12, we have the Longines word mark with the applied winged hourglass and automatic text, with Zulu Time 5 applied stars and the chronometer text just below at 6, above a step date window with a color matched date wheel. Turning the Zulu over, we have a closed engraved case back protecting the same class leading true GMT caliber from the larger model. Despite all this model family has going for it, the attribute of this watch that helps elevate the Zulu Time to new heights is its caliber L844.4. This movement was unveiled with the release of the Zulu 42 last year and is a proprietary movement utilizing fellow Swatch Group brand Etta parts, and depending on where you want to draw the line in the game of semantics that come with this subject, you could absolutely refer to this movement as in-house. Although regardless, it is important to mention that Longines is assembling and testing these movements on site at their HQ. In addition to its 72 hours of power reserve and COSC certification, this also includes the much desired True or Traveler's GMT functionality that allows for independent adjustment of the local hour hand, unlike the omnipresent Etta 2893 or Sellita SW330. For even more added value, this caliber also utilizes a silicon balance spring that should help to avoid the harmful effects of magnetic fields on timekeeping. In terms of just general specifications for this movement, just to unpack, it operates at 25,200 vibrations per hour, 3.5 hertz. It does feature hacking and hand winding, hacking stopping the second hand when you pull the crown to the farthest position, has a power reserve of 72 hours, and with that COSC certification, will be guaranteed to run between -4 to +6 seconds a day. All of these we're testing well within those parameters. So now with the general review portion of this video out of the way, let's talk about the pros and cons and closing thoughts about this watch. I've been able to spend some time with this piece. Let's discuss the cons first, then we'll shift into the pros. I think the two areas of cons have to deal with the strap bracelet, the odd number lug width, and then also in terms of just where it stacks up against the competition. On-the-fly adjustment starts to become very much more of a thing as you start to get above $3,000 with a brand like Tudor. I'll be bringing them up again later with their T-Fit. I would say that's class leading, although had more than enough in terms of micro adjustment. It's just kind of more of a nice to have that you have that there, screwed in links. Although I do think that the screwed in links versus the pin adjusted links is a bit overdone in terms of a point of criticism, but I do want to bring it up. The lume on the piece is not that exceptional for an aviation watch. It's not bad, but I won't say it's class leading. So those are probably the two things that stand out on that end. But then we shift over to the pros, and I'm just going to start with this. I would say in the last decade, this might be the most important release and potentially biggest release for Longines when you're talking about the enthusiast watch buyer and the collector. This absolutely delivers on, for one, answering what people were asking for and doing it with flying colors in terms of passing the test. True GMT with a proprietary movement, COSC certified, 70 hours of power reserve, ceramic bezel, different options to choose from. Also immediately coming in with those S&G models or those two-tone options. Another thing I will mention with providing further context to the dimension set, 13.5 millimeters in thickness. You look at the competition, again, I'll mention Tudor, over a millimeter thicker on those watches for that Black Bay Pro. So very nicely done and undercutting it by $1,000. The micro adjustment in the strap as well as the quick release in the bracelet, very well done. 100 meters of water resistance. And again, to just finalize this, let's just again take a moment to think about Longines history. I neglected how remarkable their history is. And when you're talking about this Zulu Time, it comes from a lineage of GMT watches, aviation watches, and watches with multiple time zones that is hard to rival from any brand. 1908, 3 years after Rolex even started as a company, Longines was producing a pocket watch with 2 different time zone displays. 1925, a quarter century before most GMT watches are even getting off the ground in the 1950s, Longines comes out with the Zulu Time. This directly lines up with that lineage. It's something that needs to be discussed. This brand is on a roll lately, and I think this, like I said, is potentially one of their most important releases in recent memory. Bravo to Longines. This is gonna make a lot of collectors very happy. But all right, guys, what do you think of this new Longines Spirit Zulu Time 39? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you think Longines did a good job? Some things you still don't like? Leave comments down below, love to see that. These finally just became available. We'll have links in the description down below to check it out on teddybaldassarre.com if you like what you're seeing here. But guys, thank you again so much for watching. Be well, and I will see you all very soon.